Hello. Uh-oh. Where was this button for time marking that I saw yesterday? Stream marker. I'll re-enable it. Is the stream going to be just in between PGI matches? I don't know. I don't know what time they start. I don't know if they've started already. Looks like Shroud has a lot of viewers, so maybe they started already. But I was just going to do a short stream anyway. Since this is going to be a short stream, let's get started. Last night, we were changing the undo system to store the data about a base entity in the undo system rather than in the entity. And that the thing that we did was for this stuff, the undoable entity data on the entity. There's so many fields on entity. I feel like we want to try to reduce those at some point. These all can all be a single flags. I should try to reduce those. But anyway, so this is fine. This was good to do. But we need to do an analogous thing for the derived data, which is these, right? So this is holding undo data, and so is that. So basically, we want to move this into that hash table that we just made, and so forth. Did I show off that mystery new language feature? No, I wish people would stop asking about that. I haven't done it yet. It'll be cool when I do it. I haven't done it yet. I should stop announcing things. All right, so I'm just going to delete that like we did yesterday, and we're just going to see what all the problems are and work them out. Old undo state pointer is not a member of entity. Great. There's so many I want to get rid of. We're going to do, let me make a note, entity field reduction. Is going to be a stream that we do. Because like this flag can be in runtime. Only flags, like these can all be one thing. I don't know. Some other stuff can probably be defined, reduced. The stuff in undoable data can probably be fewer flags. You don't want your base entity to be big and meaty, right? That said, for Booleans, if we shrink that down to flags, it's probably not going to be smaller than 4 bytes anyway. So I don't know. I don't know how useful that is, but yeah, we'll see. This we don't need. Yeah, okay. Well, that's separate. It's just bugging me that entity's so big. Okay. We just saw that. So let's go there. Old undo state pointer. That should never happen. Okay. So here we should have our old entity. This old entity should have an old undo state, or a derived pointer. This header bytes to ignore thing is going to kill me, but we do that. That's how many bytes we skip in order to memcomp. Yeah, we could easily screw this up. Could easily screw this up. Okay. We probably, yeah. I don't know that this memcomp thing is a good idea, but whatever. All right. I'm going to delete that because we're being more robust about things. And here is the same thing. I don't understand why we're doing this. We're memcopying from the old pointer. Oh, from the current into the old, yeah. Right, we're going from the current into, right. Okay. Fine. So here, we don't have something to copy into until after we do this. So we need to create this guy. And then we got to do this. Okay, so here, what are we doing? We have an entity change. We're applying the diff off the entity change into the entity, and then we're backing up that state into the old entity. So we need to get, we don't have an old entity here yet. So we need to do this. Whoops. I'm going to screw this up so bad because this looks like it was wrong to me. But if that was wrong, this header bytes to ignore thing really bothers me. Yeah. When this crashes, we're going to have to look at what happened. So here is when we were initializing this. Oh, our old undo state pointer intentionally didn't have those bytes. That's confusing. All right. Okay. So, since that was scary, let's resweep over that. Derived pointer. I'm changing something basic here while I'm doing this refactor, which is a bad idea, but the old thing was a bad idea too. Yeah. So we have this whole other thing. Oh, God. So the whole thing is, remember the base entity has a pointer to the, the derived properties, which represent whatever, essentially whatever subclass of entity that it is. But the first member in those is not data that we care about. It's a pointer back to the base entity, because we're storing these things in different places. And this is the system where that adds complexity. And in some cases, we were saying, well, when we allocate this memory, we're going to allocate it without those bytes and then skip over those bytes. And it's a pain in the butt because it's easy to get wrong. Now, there's this thing called entity default states, which we generate in the metaprogram that I guess also doesn't have those header bytes. Or this was wrong. But I don't know. If this was wrong, then life is terrible, right? So default entity. Oh, entity default. No. Entity default states. Init entity default states. Make default entity of whatever. Make default entity. No, the derived has the pointer. So we're just going to have this pointer everywhere, because the thing is, we're making sort of a whole shadow entity in our hash table, and we want that to be like the other entity. There's like not a lot of profit to be gained in saving these 8 bytes, and it's very confusing. So we're just getting rid of that difference. So here, we just knew up the entire subclass. So this was probably wrong before. Could be wrong now, but it was probably wrong before. Let me check diff entity. Oh, this doesn't mean what I thought. This means the opposite of what I thought. Okay. Okay, now we actually want these to be 0 all the time. And we're gonna want to. You know what? We're just deleting this. Just deleting this. We're simplifying, people. Apply diff. No such argument. We weren't even using it. All right. So here we do that. Here we do that. Here we do that. So the reason I thought it had to have okay. Let's move this stuff down here. We get the old entity. We get this stuff. So this is not destination. This is source. God. Okay. Oh my God, this is so not going to work. All right. 198. Definity. Wanted to. So we pass the entity, but the derived data pointer. That's a weird API, but okay. Okay, we gotta. Started open can of worms here. There's a header bytes to ignore, missing some lines above. That's an old enough comment that I don't know what it refers to now. Okay. So what are we doing here? We are seeing if the derived data matches. So we want to diff the entity off the old derived. Oh God. This is not, yeah. This header bytes to ignore thing was a giant mistake. Saving 8 bytes isn't worth it, man. So we're going to do that. We store that in the change. We do the mem copy. This whole memcomp thing is annoying. Okay. How did we end up? I'm really confused about how we ended up with. Were people just calling that with wrong arguments before? Oh, wait, serialize. Oh, yeah, I just deleted too many things. Except we didn't use that argument current, I guess. So I didn't delete too many things, right? Current. Oh, no, we do use it. I fat-fingered the deletion. All right. That's how awake we are this morning. Okay. Okay, we compile. I give us approximately 5% chance of running correctly. The headphones you're buying, are they USB or something? Yeah, they're USB or something. I don't know, man. We'll find out. We looked at a lot of different headphones. Yeah, that totally didn't work. Oh, because I gave it a 0% chance of working because we never did the step where we actually allocate the derived data in the entity that goes in the hash table. So that doesn't work. So let's look at this place where we make an entity of an unknown type. You get the type info of what you want to make, and then we just say the derived pointer is alloc of info.runtime size. So we got to do that. We got to do that. Where table add, yeah. So here, we'll add, okay, so we're just going to free that. And well, no, we don't copy any of that stuff. I might want to make this more complicated again later because we're storing a bunch of extra data for entity. I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. We want to say equals alloc derived size, whoops, and then mem copy so we just have to get this size of how big the derived data is. Now we have some tables. Okay. So we basically want this. Now I can sort of cast to this from the entity type, but that doesn't work on embedded systems. So I'm going to try to, oh, I do it here anyway. Okay. Well, there we go. So that's something. Yeah. Derived data is not a member of entity because it's not called derived data. It's called derived pointer. Derived pointer. Okay, I still give chances of this working 3%. Well, once I stop calling this derived data, 3%. Will I stop calling it derived data? All right, crash oleo. Ooh. Oh my God, we're undoing. What is going on? How is it possible? Well, do I find myself questioning if programming was a good direction to take in life just because of the amount of bullshit one has to deal with? I would be if I hadn't been taking steps in life to reduce the amount of bullshit. That's why I'm doing this whole programming language and all this stuff, right? Okay, let's just see what happens. I bet we probably crash, but let's find out. I'm a little bit amazed that this is working as well as it is. Let's go see what's going on in the, this is going to take like 5 minutes. Oh, PUBG's happening in Berlin. Let's see.
Great. greatest.
It's you know, he's an excellent player in his own right, but this is the first time in I mean, for most of these players in an arena environment of this kind, and for Wacky Jackie, it's no longer on the ladder, but he is playing with some extremely talented pros. Team Liquid taking second place. Foreign turf on third-person perspective.
Yep.
Beast has said last night at dinner that Wacky Jackie's great because he listens, and that's something that is an important aspect of learning.
Who's
pro
team
meta,
number
which is
one?
Exactly what they're playing. It's the same type of settings, and for the most of these guys, it's their first exposure to that.
It's like, hey guys, can you just like follow exactly what I say? Yes. Oh,
Why are they
brilliant.
showing 11 through
Teamwork.
20? I don't.
Isn't this a beautiful thing
Come
in a
on,
computer
guys.
game when you could actually
1 through 10.
function as a
Show 1
squad?
through 10.
No toxicity from Wacky Jackie. That's not happening there. But
You need voice lines to spam out inside the game. It's like, I do not understand. I do not understand.
Still going.
Looks like Mumino
Still
is
going.
on the run as Chiefs off around the corner, and Larson gets executed.
Bard's there to support, but that was kind of an ambush.
Yeah, that's the Straya trap right there.
Path was not good for the area so far, and WTSG very underlooted.
South Georgia pole.
On Larson.
And even in charity game, it's like WTSG cannot have South Georgia themselves.
It must be in their in the contract within the team.
You know, we might be able to check this in.
The penthouse view. Edge will come as well. They'll need two.
It's probably still got a bug, but since we're revamping the undo system over the next couple days, I'm not that worried about it. Oh man.
He'll be running back down the stairs, but Vard's so low on life, and here comes Edge to finish the job. Or will he? He will. There's Vard knocked down. The revive is there, and WTSG. Goodbye.
That's both pros going down and out.
Yep.
So they do have some teammates left, but now it's going to be up to their influencer friends to continue their trek forward.
Never count out an influencer. They're crazy. They're unpredictable. They push when they should fold.
Well, they're going to be all alone for now. TGX in the Georgia Pole region as well.
Your favorite gun, the Vector.
Well, I don't like that I can't tell who's in all these teams.
Yeah.
Always finds you somewhere.
It's a shame that the M249 doesn't.
Why are they playing third person? Why are we watching third person PUBG? This is stupid. God. Can you get banned for watching other streams? I don't know. I see people on Twitch do it, so it's unclear. But I just don't want to spoil the puzzles too hard by showing those tests over and over. They'll get into people's subconscious, and they're not unit tests. They're not unit tests. I don't like unit tests. Did I need to get permissions to all the games I integrated into this game? Well, it would be a bad idea to steal other people's games. That's not how we do things. That's not how we do things. Why not unit tests? Because they're a giant waste of effort. It's one of these things that got trendy in, like, there's just things that become trendy in programming, right? Where for 5 or 10 years, people think they're a really good idea. And then by the time you get to year 15, everyone looks back and says, oh, that was a terrible idea, right? Some trends have shorter timelines than that, right? So like microservices, 2018 is the year when everybody says, oh my God, microservices were a bad idea. So that one only lasted like 3 or 4 years. You know, unit tests has had a longer lifespan, but it's this idea that you should do 10 times as much software engineering as you want to just to make sure your things work. And like that's very inefficient. If you can't produce correct code in less effort than that, then you have a problem. Do I think there are trends like what we see in programming in other professions? I don't know. I mean, there's probably a little bit of that everywhere, but programming is really bad. For something that's supposed to be kind of a science, programming is really superstitious. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why programmers are so bad. Like, programmers are supposed to have the job of correctly evaluating cost-benefit analyses, and we're so bad at it that I don't even understand how we could be so bad at it. So, yeah, I don't know. Do we have bindings for Mac OS Cocoa framework to write the system side of the game? Yeah, so this Sokoban game runs on Mac OS that you're seeing. I don't have a Mac to run it on right now, but it runs on Mac OS. Do you use code review before features bug fix integration? Not usually. Like if somebody does something and they're working in an area that they're unfamiliar with, they might ask other programmers for a code review of something that they just checked in. But that's kind of rare. We don't do that very often. So many people are hosting me. That's so weird. Look at all these people. Well, that's how it is. People are hosting. People are hosting me. Watch me sit here. Oh, it finished. Okay, well, the same levels that always fail have failed. Oh, wait, 10. We've got an extra one. Heroes 319. Why did this one? This one has more undos than a lot of levels. Oh boy. Okay. So I broke something. Probably having to do with not copying the entity state at the right time. I don't exactly know. Okay. This thing, okay, I think I see what's wrong. Oh, maybe it's not. Okay, so this stone that's next to this bard that I'm moving around is supposed to be charmable by the bard, so it's supposed to move when she moves, and it isn't. This may not be an undo problem. Okay, if I make that one, okay, that is charmable. So if I go here and then undo that, is it charmable? Yes. Okay, somehow our charmable flag is not... Oh, I know what I can do. Let's test it. Like, that's too clean of a problem to really be a problem in the undo system. So here I just hit a key that clones everything from the gameplay state into the editor so we can inspect the fields of everything in the game. Do we not draw charmable? Oh, it's mirrorable is what. Mirrorable and charmable are the same thing. So these are set mirrorable. This one is not. And so the level is failing because she can't move this one, even though she should be able to. Do I have any estimate how many hours we've put in the compiler? No. What is my take on state machines? You're currently studying compiler construction. You're wondering how the compiler parses. It's just regular code. It's not anything that your fancy compiler class is going to teach you, because all that stuff is a bad idea for parsing. Okay. Let's slow it down and see where that stone comes from. The problem with this level is there's so much undoing spamming in it, in this playthrough. Because I was just like taking a long time to figure out the solution while I was recording everything. Okay, is that where it came from? Yes. So by the time we get there, all right. See, nothing else goes horribly wrong. I'm a little confused. Where does that, which block is that? That's not an undo, I don't think. know, guys. Okay, so first, so I'm going to write down failing level. We want to fix that. But first, I want to make sure that I can do stuff in the editor. So here's my test level. Can I like undo and redo and move stuff around and delete it and make a bunch of these, load it, and so like it seems to be working. It's kind of mean. That's how it goes sometimes. Well, I mean, I suspect because I kind of want to go back to that level and just like figure out under what condition I could make a stone uncharmable. Oh, that was easy. Okay, wait. How come I didn't do that before? So here, here, undo. Okay, wait, that was charmable. Wait. What? What? Okay. That's... Wait, why is my guy alive? Oh, he's protected. I see. Okay, that's charmable. Rewind. Charmable. Not charmable. So the charmable flag is like, okay. There. There. Charmable. Not charmable. So it's getting like erased on a frame where not much is happening to it. Like nothing is happening to it. We could set a data breakpoint on that. I'm too hungry to do that now, right? So it's going to be breakfast time, and so maybe we'll chase this down later. So I suspect what's going on is that one of those mem copies is like 8 bytes off because of that thing. Or the entity diff is off. Yeah, I'm just, on a new stream, we'll debug this in a little bit because I'm a little too hungry, but you know, all we have to do to debug this is here. So basically, I move around a little bit, I do this, right? So now, if I undo, that's charmable. So right there, when I did that rewind, in the undo system, we are not here, not here. We're here, we're in do create. So we're rewinding a destroy, because when we turn that back into a wall, we turned the crystal into a wall. So we destroyed the crystal and created the wall. So now we're reversing that. So we're destroying the wall and creating the crystal. So we create the crystal here. And we copy the data. Right? After this point, it's correct because this is charmable, right? Okay, but now I undo one more and it's not charmable. So we can set the data breakpoint on the charmable flag here. You know, while I'm explaining it, I might as well do it. It's just I'm hungry. So we're going to start up on this level. We're going to build a debug build of the game because that was not a debuggable build. We're going to start it up. That was the wrong level. Wait, it wasn't 119 because it's got a druid in it. It's 319. Yeah. Okay. 319. So we go to this guy. We walk around. We do that. Let's just verify again that this works in the debugger the same way. Yep. Should be charmable. It isn't. All right. So boom, walk around. Boom. So rewind. Next rewind should create that wall. So we're going to go to undo. And we're going to say here. All right. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get... All right, so maybe a good way to check that this is the right one is to check the mesh. I don't know why that's in undoable data. That's another thing we could clean up. Oh, God damn it. The debugger is driving me fucking crazy. LLVM has this problem. Jesus Christ. All right. I have to make something of a different name. This drives me nuts. We need to figure out how to solve it. Like if you use multiple variables of the same name in a procedure, it like can't find the right one for some stupid reason. All right. So here we go again. So debug E, undoable data, mesh. God, yeah, look at all these members. We got to get rid of some of these. Mesh. What's the name? Why don't we put the name high up on mesh so it's easy to find? What the hell is the name? Okay, this is the crystal. All right, so we're going to say rock arrow debug E derived pointer. Okay, this looks valid. It's at a position 7,6. It is mirrorable, right? So we're going to go here. We're going to find this variable, take the address of it, and we're going to set a data breakpoint. For 1 byte. 26E 984E. This is the part of Visual Studio that sucks. People say, why don't you use an IDE? It helps you so much. Come on, guys. I have to type this garbage hex number from down here to set a data breakpoint, which is something I want to do all the time. Please. All right, so one more undo. There we go. Okay. So we're applying a fields from a diff. Right, so the item hopefully is the right item. If it's the wrong item, then we know our memory address is off. But it's the right item. It's the mirrorable property. So somehow our mirrorable property that got stored in the diff is not right. That's, well, let's see if that's correct. So, yeah, so 8 bytes in. So when we created this diff, that was wrong. Our byte offset is probably wrong when we're creating the diff. Or we're creating the diff from the wrong data, which is quite possible. So the diff would get created down here. Should be here. So okay, Here's where we do something really fun. Only on this level, every entity rock should be charmable. Or mirrorable, right? So if item.name is equal to mirrorable, first let's just make sure that this assert goes off, that we're not screwing something up, right? So okay, we start out, why are there rocks in this level to start? I thought that there wouldn't be. Okay, hold on. Now, I'm glad that the assert went off, but why did we load a rock? Oh, we were loading the editor. Yeah. Is it called for editing? We just want to say, look, we're not in the editor, we're in gameplay. Debug build. Okay, so we're able to load this up, and now we should assert as soon as I create a rock. Yeah. That's great. That's what we wanted. Now, here we're going to assert, we're going to say value is dereference we're just going to assert that that flag is true, and then we're going to do the same thing here. This is when you do really ugly stuff that does not generalize. Oh, say bool. Sometimes debugging is a dark art. So let's run that in the debugger. That's weird. There might be a weird thing here where we clone it and then we change the properties after it gets recorded. Right? Okay. So it's the old one. Okay, so the first 8 bytes should be a pointer. It's definitely not. Oh, because we're diffing. We're diffing off the base entity data, for which this would not be set. Wait. So for the other call to diff entity, that assert that I put in would fail, but that's not the one that it's asserting off. It's asserting off old e.derive. Okay, so let's do this. It's got a correct. Oh, this isn't even, we don't even set the pointer to the right thing. So this is probably pointing to the main entity, which is confusing. But these are definitely not right. Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking the problem. Okay, here's my current theory. The problem is not a byte offset situation at all, even though that was voted most likely to be a problem. The problem is when we create the entity. Let's look at this code, right? So we say convert to block, right? So convert to block. We make a thing, and then we set mirrorable, okay? When we make this, that's when the thing's getting recorded. So it's this problem, like I was saying before, like I was a little bit worried that maybe we're not getting all the state in there. That's what's happening. When we call this make, that's when we call create, which is when we record it with the undo system. Then we set some properties on it. And this property is not getting copied in. I don't think correctly. Like it's not getting noticed that it's different or something. But that all makes me nervous anyway, because I mean, we really would like to initialize and then have the undo system save this state. So, but we don't want to have to manually do that. Like if we have to manually, the reason it's this way is because this is easy to talk about. So I think that the undo system has this pending actions list, right? So when you register something with the undo system, it makes a pending action of like, oh, there's an entity create that we need to deal with. And then at the end of the frame, it does that, right? So, so here's the pending actions array. When we, let's say note, when we note an entity creation or destruction, we make this creation or destruction type and then we put it in the pending actions list here, right? So we created an entity. We say like, oh, it's a creation, not a destruction. Then we make the old entity state, and then we put this in the pending actions list. Okay, the problem is this has the state that's too early, right? So what we need to do is we need to say, I'm just going to type straight into the file so that this doesn't compile. Incomplete, we need, because I'm going to go eat, we need to save we need to record old e's derived pointer data during undo end frame, not now, because right now the caller has constructed the entity, but has not yet filled in all its members, so we are recording old data. So that's good. I mean, there may also be a byte offset problem, but I'm betting there isn't. Okay, so now we won't compile. And we're going to do that on a stream maybe tonight or something. We're going to fix that bug. And we'll do more testing because I don't want to check in this without further testing for people. All right, well, thanks everyone for coming by. Any final on-topic questions before I go get some brekkie? Uh-oh. Someone is criticizing. Oh God, there's a functional language person in the chat. Bro, so I think there needs to be a license where before someone comes along and criticizes programming style, they need to show that they've programmed something equivalently complex, because most people haven't. It's so annoying. So annoying. Someone's telling me I need to use comment markers around the comment. Thanks, man. I really didn't know that. No, you're not the functional person. Some other person. The person saying, I am suffering from using if-else is the functional person. You can break programs into multiple lines by pressing enter. Oh, yeah, okay. Cool, man. All right. Will we stream in 4K again now that we are affiliate? Oh, do I have it turned down to 1080? That's not good. You can type code in the editor and compile it. Whoa. If you never press enter, your entire program will be on one line. Awesome. Awesome, man. Emacs plugin for glowing text when I type. The text doesn't glow when I type. All right, let's find someone to host now. Programming. I'm amazed that only one level failed based on that problem. It should have been more than one level failed, but that's how it goes. Oh, let's go to game development. Always check that first. Let's learn Niagara. I don't know what that is, but it's probably not good, because everything new is not good. Working on my sci-fi horror game. Making a thing. Why are there so many people programming Twitch chat games? I guess it's entertaining feedback. The new particle editor in Unreal. Okay. What is this?
Either way, it tests the scenario. I don't really care about this boundary condition.
This looks like some
Now let's do
bad
this.
language.
Let's make sure that both names are contained. Oh, how am I going to do this actually? Let's do db username history equals await db framework connects username history dot select. We want.
How many awaits are you
new
going to have
name.
going on there, man?
Where old name.
That's a lot of awaits. All right. I don't really see anything going on here, frankly.
So, we can try it like this.
Let's host this. He's
First
saying
goes
stuff
through.
and typing stuff, and he's not awaiting. So
Share implementation, here's share implementation, and here we'll do a scene. Equals empty.
we'll do this. And we'll do it raid style because someone was suggesting that. See y'all later.
Okay, it gets the parent. So this is a scene node. This is chair top implementation. This is a scene node. And here we lack a scene node. So let's try like this. Whoa, what happened? Holy shit.